podcast, media, or anything. Like, I say some off the rail stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
he's an idiot.
I'm gonna ask your dad if he wants to sell one of his testicles for $30,000.
We're not there yet.
That was a good deal. But I see the point of it though, is that this sofa you could like Sunday this
Couch
thing.
hanging.
Dude, it's great.
Oh yeah, you go to sleep, and because being Cowboys fans,
Shut up.
you're not going to stay up to watch the game. You have a nice little Sunday afternoon
It
nap
is very
after
true.
church.
Anyways.
It is very true.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 23 Moto podcast. As you could tell, the gentleman to my left, which we're going to introduce him first. Sorry, Roberto.
He doesn't need introduction, though.
Yeah, scoot over a little closer, though.
You need more introduction than he does.
Jeff Emig is joining us in our humble studio. His son Jagger is off camera, hanging out. And we might go to him a few times if we need something to Google. Like, hey, like we don't know the answer to
Jagger,
this.
Google this.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
dude, thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're
of course.
our first actual...
First
Don't
guest?
short my boy.
I'm not shorting your
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
but I'm saying the first actual guest, and we go big time with it.
That's true.
You know what
It
I
is.
mean? That's a pretty big thing.
Well, I mean, on the Instagram, the show's only got 79 followers as of
Don't worry about that.
tonight.
Don't worry
on
about
the way down. But
Don't worry about
23 Media, solid performance.
What are we at,
Solid
71,000?
70.
71 and change, I
know.
believe
Who
it
cares?
is, yeah.
Who cares? Doesn't
So
matter.
we're going to bump that up, though.
Yeah. What are you at? How many followers are you at?
120?
I think the system, but can I say fuck?
You can say fuck, shit.
I think the
huh?
system, I think the algorithm is fucking me because I literally have been stuck at 179,000 for like,
That's a lot.
no, for years. Like
Really?
like it's stuck there.
Huh.
I don't know.
I think I'm shadow
And
banned.
I'm all, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
pretty sure I'm shadow banned.
Yeah, if you looked at my direct messages, there'd be plenty of reasons to shadow ban me.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
Yeah, but you're not public. Like other people are public with stuff and they don't get shadow banned sometimes. I think it's whatever. Anyway, so we are going to recap St. Louis Supercross.
Yes, sir.
We're going to recap a whole bunch of different things. Did you ride this weekend? No. Did you ride this weekend?
Dude, it rained all weekend.
That's right. We didn't do anything. I rode. Wait, when the hell did I ride?
You
When did I ride?
Friday.
Friday. I rode Friday at Fox Raceway.
Good.
It was rad. It was a good time right before the rain hit and everything. The track was rough. When the last time you rode? When you raced?
When I raced at Elsinore.
This guy's a big time racer now.
Big time.
oh yeah?
Big time racer.
Dude, I
What,
did
a race there or the
I did the
Grand
Swap
Prix?
Moto race series over there.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to flip this around real quick. Keep talking. You're
yeah, I
good.
did the Swap Moto race series over there, and I signed up for 2 classes, and then I had to do 4 races against A-Ray.
There we go.
Some other guy.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Oh, dude, there was like some pros that were in it that DeSimone.
Yeah.
You know, I think you know him.
Yeah, so I raced him
Yeah.
and A-Ray.
Yeah, no, I remember a couple of summers ago when I was training on my 150, I would be out at like Paris Raceway on a Wednesday with DeSimone, and he's like riding all of like the hero lines on a 450, and I'm like,
You rode Hero Lines on a 150.
no, I'm the inside line guy, and so I'm like strategically, trying to ride the inside muddy rutted line because I'm only practicing for Loretta's. I don't care about winning.
That's true.
Paris Raceway.
Oh.
But then, your ego gets in there and you're kind of like, the competitive nature gets in there and you're like,
Right.
who the hell's this guy on this 450 blasting around? So you're like, okay, I'm going to,
Yeah.
So the thought always was that where the competition comes in on like a practice day is go, okay, let him ride the hero lines. I'm going to ride the shit line and still try to ride with him, even when I was like riding like a somewhat stock 150.
Right.
Right. There's quite a bit of disadvantage. So there's sort of 2 things there. But then if you can make that work, then that's like this,
I see what
it's
you're
like
saying.
an element of practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're
You
saying.
just did Loretta's, didn't you?
Yeah,
when
last
was that
year.
recent? Was it last year?
Vet Rider of the Year and shit.
Yeah, I
Where
was
the
going to
fuck
say,
you
I'm
been?
like,
Were you in a
yeah,
comment
where were
last
you
summer?
at, bro?
Where the hell has he been? Yeah,
dude.
Because the last one that I saw was it was a mutter.
That's
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That you
That's
did.
one he
That was
won, dude.
brutal, dude.
So it rained a couple times during the week, and they pushed everything. We had to race all 33 Moto 3s on Saturday, which they had never done before. So they had to shorten some motos, and they had to just cram it in. So we go to the line. So of the third motos,
Keep talking. I'm gonna
the
adjust this.
first one was going to be the plus 40, and Brown and I.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Brown, I won one moto. He blew out a bunch of spokes in his front wheel. I couldn't keep up with him. He was on another level.
Did pretty damn
So
good, though.
we go to the starting line. No forecast for rain. I have 7 tear-offs on, no preparation for rain or nothing.
Right.
We're in staging, and all of a sudden, BJ, my mechanic, BJ Burns, we're like, dude, we're looking back, and this dark cloud comes out of nowhere. The moto before us was like a 65 or something. It started coming down. We didn't even have an umbrella. We're lined up. I lined up on the very inside.
On the gate.
Nothing. No. So some kid's dad that he knows that was waiting and staging, he runs out with an umbrella for us, and BJ and I are just like, well, like, just go have fun, I guess. Like, literally, your rut at the starting line was just full of water. Like, it was the wettest race. It rivals Hangtown 91. You guys, viewers, should Google that if you can find any clips from that. You could have done better on a jet ski, right? It was like Daytona 08.
Yeah, I was going to say Daytona.
It was like that. And I ended up getting the whole shot. It was messy. Brown comes by. Brown passes me, and he's just bombing it. And
What
then
bike
his
was
engine
he
blows
on?
up. He was on a 450.
And you were on, what bike were you on?
I was on the 300.
That's right.
You're on
Yes.
But you know what's crazy is a 4-stroke can pump a lot of water and stuff through it and never break.
Yeah.
And my 2-stroke, which is, really sensitive to having any water inside the engine, right? Misfire. Dude, my bike was perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out.
And it still
was
ran
great.
good because didn't you get it rebuilt after that? The
Well,
motor?
we did
think
a
you
few
had
months
to.
later, yeah.
Was it?
When it's that muddy, you kind of have to.
Oh,
right?
hey, so if you look at my video that was on, Whiskey Throttle, like there was some guys like on the comments that were like, dude, Emig doesn't know what like an off-road, like a GNCC guy, his bike looks like that every week. He loops the chain, does the filter, and races it.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Those guys are
we're just in a different place.
Yeah, but any moto guy, any moto guy, they're all about like having the nicest, cleanest, especially vet riders like myself, and unlike you because you're a big race guy, is
Big time.
Yeah, I like my stuff clean. and,
Well,
ready
the
to
thing
go.
is, what I find is like when you're cleaning everything, like I don't go ride with dirty gear or nothing.
No, you
like
can't.
bike's clean every
Yeah, you
time.
can't.
And what you'll find is that when everything's clean, that's when you'll notice a bolt's missing or something's not right.
Fair point.
Things
true.
like
I didn't even
that.
think about
And I literally have a sixth sense. Like I find missing bolts on bikes. Like,
Tech tip with Jeffro.
yeah,
you ask my
bring
wife-
the bike to me.
Yeah, and he'll
If it's
wash
got
it.
a rattle, I'll find it.
Yeah.
So if you ask my wife, she's like, it doesn't make sense. You guys are the only sport that I know that goes and cleans everything spotless just to go get dirty. She goes, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is,
by his old school up in Riverside in Woodcrest, he used to go to Woodcrest Christian, him and his sister, and there's a car wash there. I go out of my way to go. It's 30 minutes from my place now. I take my bike to the car wash. I don't unload. When I get done riding, I don't unload unless everything's clean. Boots.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
I'm
it's like
OCD.
when you put it away, you're
it's
you get all
crazy.
the dirt.
It drives my girlfriend
yeah.
Jessica
Pretty
nuts.
much,
Like
yeah.
today, so my OCD kind of kicks in. It's kind of like your biggest strengths, your biggest weakness. But some of the lights in the kitchen had to get turned on. But you know how they have like 2 lights?
Right.
Well, the one switch has to be a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
And I go and switch it, and she goes, "Wow,
Thanks, bro.
OCD's kicking in a little." I said, "Yeah."
It's like, sorry.
She kind of rolls with it. But when it comes to writing stuff, like there's a method to it, and I worked with this with the sports psychologist my last year at Cowie, so in '99. Name was Ken Revizza. He was like Mark McGuire, like all these brilliant pitchers,
Right.
Baseball guy?
Yeah, baseball. Yeah. And he was at Cal State Fullerton and a sports psychologist, and like being able to like just get into the funnel. And as you get close to the gate drop, like I used to think that it was being OCD, but you do everything in a certain sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And then it starts to, it sets these markers in your brain that if you do A, B, and C, the likelihood that D, E, and F are going to happen. So then you start to just channel all of your focus down, right? The bad thing is, what could happen is if that gets disrupted, now you're a total
mess.
basket case.
Yeah.
Because now your funnel got
Yeah, it's like
up,
the same
right?
thing putting your right boot on before you put your left.
But if you're,
left.
I put whatever.
But there's a lot of
Yeah.
No, it's got to
I
be
haven't
done a
gotten
certain
that
way. I'm
habit.
very routine oriented. Like
you
when I
left?
go ride at Paris or whatever, like everything is loaded the exact same way
Yeah.
because if it's loaded differently,
You think you forgot
Throws you
something.
off.
Yeah, if I load it the exact same way, I didn't put any boots in or whatever.
Oh yeah, I have had that happen a couple times where you forget boots.
Dang, I'm doing it wrong.
So
You just don't care, dude. You just
I
show
did a
up.
video.
I just ride.
I did a video for bringing Elevate. One of the first videos I did on the Elevate motocross platform.
That's rad,
was
by the way.
packing my gear bag.
Oh,
And I
really?
go, look, I know y'all gonna think this is stupid, but trust me, there's method in my madness because I forgot my helmet once when I was probably 10 and didn't get to ride.
Oh, you told me about
Okay,
that.
I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think it was 2006, maybe 2003. I was training for Loretta's. I had to get in my motos, and I go out to Paris Raceway. Hot day. Nobody's out there except
Yeah.
for Chad Reed. He's riding Yamahas. Okay. And I pull up late because I want to ride in the middle of the day when it's super hot. Okay. And then I realize, I got my flip flops.
Yeah.
And hey, Chad, you got some socks in your bag? He's like, dude, all I have is what I wore today because he had just got done testing. And it's like, shit, how bad do I want to ride?
Yeah, you're
no, seriously.
screwed.
Oh, yeah. I put them on, and I'm not sure if you ever put on another man's sweaty Moto Socks, but
I have not, thankfully.
it's
No, I
not
haven't.
something you want to experience
I
in
truthfully
life.
take my Moto Socks off after when I'm done with it, and I toss them at him. You know what I mean?
No, you
or I
don't.
toss my
You
wife
toss
like
bananas.
that too. Or I
Yeah.
tell my wife, if you just freaking smell these things,
Yeah.
they smell horrible.
Yeah,
But-
so I had to do that to get the riding in, and then after that, it's like, yeah, no more.
Never
So,
forget
but
it again.
but if you just do everything, then you'll notice if something's off.
It's true. It's like Dino when he forgot his helmet pad.
Oh, that was
And he put it- what do you-
hilarious.
he put a
I don't know if
sock
you
in
ever
there?
saw that.
He
Dude.
put a sock in on the side right there.
Yeah.
because he
If you
forgot
got to
his helmet
ride, you
pad.
got to ride.
So
I
he made
felt-
it work.
So he came back. I went out and I filmed with him at Elsinore, and he just got back from World Supercross, and he just flew in on a red eye the night before. And he shows up to the track, and he's not hungover. It looks like he's
Yeah.
hungover because he's hungover from jet lag. And he is looking around his gear bag, and he's like, "Dude, I forgot my fucking helmet pad, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
And like did one of those, and then he forgot a air gauge, so he forgot that. Dude, he
Yeah,
forgot.
but somebody would have one of those.
Yeah.
It'd be all
Yeah,
right.
I know, but it's still funny. It was like, and then he was trying to pour in gas and he was spilling it everywhere. He was a mess. Dude.
wasn't his day.
But like what you're saying is, if you have those things out of order, you just become
you
a
would
mess.
know. You would
Dude,
know.
I was dying laughing when he did
And
that.
all you
though.
guys with your trucks, it blows my mind that you
Dude,
guys
I don't have
good
them. I'm not
trucks.
going to spend $100 on a moto van, dude.
That's not for those 44 grand.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that
Park
when
it
I
in
saw
the
you pull up
garage.
in it.
Listen,
Dude,
you
everybody
guys,
wants to give me shit about
How many
driving a
seats are in there?
minivan, and it should be noted that that's
Minivan,
a
Jeff?
mid-size.
But that doesn't look
Minivan,
like
Jeff?
It's a mid-size.
that doesn't really look like a minivan though.
Is
it's
it
a
the same one that I
mid-size.
saw you at when I did the
Yeah,
tailgate talk
I've
with
had
you?
two of them. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
No, it's rad.
thing's pretty cool.
I don't have anything against him.
Hey, he just started doing his driving. He's got
How
his
old are you?
permit. He's like, it drives pretty good.
Okay, so how
Right?
many seats are in that though? Right now,
Right now, 4.
with the bike,
Yeah.
how many seats does it come in with normally though?
Well, it's got a 3-seat in the back that I like never
But
use.
you can't fit the bike.
With a passenger van, you could have, there'd be 8, but this is set up for
Yeah,
6.
but you need it.
No, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 7.
You have the back set up for you. And
The second row seats has
Yeah.
the middle and the left is
yeah,
one
yeah, yeah,
seat.
yeah.
And then I put my bike in backwards. Dude, trust me, it's
Might
like,
have to look at that.
My brother-in-law George, that might be a solution for you, buddy. He's been looking at like vans and stuff like
oh,
that.
and the turning radius on it is so tight.
That doesn't have the
Jessica loves it. She ain't
driving
gonna-
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just so tight. It's just like you get in and out of parking spots.
easy.
So if you're if you're a family man, but you don't want to buy a Sprinter and you
Yeah.
still ride moto, that's the van.
Dude,
to
it's
go.
What kind
Sprinter's
is it?
a
A Sprinter?
Sprinter?
What is it?
No, it's a Mercedes Metris.
Oh, excuse me.
It's only
mister.
40.
Yeah.
It's a fine German automobile, dude.
Yeah, I bet. And okay, so I have to
24-inch.
bring up something real quick because it's hitting me, flashing me in the face, and I have to say something about it. You see his flex on us? Have you seen it?
What's his shirt?
No.
That's the flex
That is
right there,
that
for
is
sure.
a badass shirt though. You
No,
see
I
that
don't.
DC ring?
What's that?
Oh
Look at
yeah.
that
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I noticed
we're
that.
getting ready to have 4-3 days. So I was thinking
Yeah.
about it today before
That's
I,
pretty
Oh,
freaking
come
cool,
on,
dude.
yeah.
I haven't set this thing in
Yeah.
5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just jewelry.
What's that from? Does
This-
that have something to do with Ken?
No, well,
okay.
maybe. When I retired, I hosted a big retirement party at the U.S. Open. Did you guys ever go to the U.S. Open, the
Yeah.
original one?
Yes. Yeah.
So you remember where the VIP area was, where
Nope,
we were all
too
at?
poor,
You guys
bro.
were
Yeah,
were
we were
looking
too
up.
poor. We were
Well,
just-
what would it be like up
Yes,
there?
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
well,
us in, Jeff.
Yeah,
We're
no,
still
no.
at that stage looking up what it would be like.
So
up
the
there.
night
point, too.
before, we used that area Eric and Tim and everybody that owned the race, we set up a thing. So I hosted a big party for everyone in my family and friends and people from the industry and sponsors and everybody. So
that's right.
And then Fox DC InStyle. I forget who else kicked in, but they all kicked in and got
That's
this.
rad.
So this
That
has
is
sentiment
cool.
of value too, and of course this has tremendous meaning.
That DC one's nice for sure.
Yeah, it's not size right. I got a little piece of tape on it to get it worked on.
Oh, for the pinky? Dude, you ain't getting it back now.
No, I'll get it back.
Big race guy. He takes it,
Yeah.
But that's cool. That is, I saw it when you like had it sitting on the pinky ring. I was like, whoa, dude. Big flex, man. But it makes sense why you're wearing it.
Yeah, we're 4 3 days coming up.
I like it. What, in 2 days? Yeah, because it's April
You got anything
Fool's
planned
today.
for that day?
No, I'll be here. We're gonna his spring break, so we're gonna hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
That's what you should
snowboard
do.
tomorrow.
Are you riding moto? No, not at all.
Soccer.
You don't want
And,
to?
So he's not riding moto. You can't hear
How
it
does
off
that?
camera.
How did that work out?
Hold on. All right. If he's gonna have a full on segment, have him come in and have a full on segment. Yeah.
You want to hop in for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, he's good.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't
want
want
it. We'll talk off
How
camera.
is it that your dad is Jett Emig and you don't?
That's
ride
not.
moto?
But to him, he's just dad.
No, I get that. But his whole life revolves around dirt bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
There's
you
a
think it
whole
would-
story, I'm sure.
I'm
to
sure
that.
there is.
Yeah.
Does dad not want him to
could
ride?
you guys you literally could do a show with like the children of racers,
Oh, I know.
because now it's like
You hear a lot.
all of our
actually a good
kids are
idea.
grown up,
Not
right?
a bad idea.
You
And I'll
actually-
probably get a lot of bad stories too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories, which won't mention names, but off camera, I'm sure you know the same stories. You know what I mean? But you hear some of the stories and you're like, yeah. I get it, dude. I want my daughter to ride.
Yeah, but it's all good. Like he rode 110, 50s, all that. My daughter
fun.
did also. The area where we lived had a bunch of the horse paths, bridle paths, and we rode and all that. But he gravitated towards kicking a ball and playing soccer. And
Oh, you play soccer?
That's cool, though.
Oh, that's rad.
And so that's the thing is, just because it was my choice and my path, it doesn't have to be his or Presley's. They can do whatever they want to do, right? And find their own thing. And I remember when Troy Adamitis was doing the Moto Inside the Outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was cool.
one of those summers, it featured the Alessis, and Tony made the comment of these boys were motocross racers before they were even born, and it's always stuck with me. Like, I kind of want them
Them
to
to
do
pick their own
whatever
thing.
they want to do.
Yeah.
No.
Right? You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
understandable. Absolutely.
And if they had chose to do that, great. And I love that. I have friends and competitors and everybody, and you're seeing these second or even third generations and all this. It's great, but that's their life path and that's their choice. And if they want to do that, great. Jagger wants to play soccer, or if he decides he wants to do anything else in life, then I'm just going to support him in whatever he wants to do.
So, Jagger, no, not trying to flex on you, buddy, but I won an 8U
He's definitely trying to flex on that.
recreational championship here in Temecula with my oldest son.
Oh,
Just
yeah?
saying. Rec, not
I don't
club,
even know what that is.
Not high school ball. It was,
even have
dude,
close-
it was just,
don't even have an idea
I
what
got
that is.
super lucky, dude, but it was just,
Were you
I
the
guess,
coach?
I don't know.
I was
I
the
don't know what it
coach.
is.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You got the coaches on.
I was the coach, man. I have the whole thing. I'd never coached soccer before, and my son's like, I want to play soccer, and they needed a coach. So I was
At
like, all right,
8?
cool. 8U.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was great, dude. Just won the championship.
should've
Went all the
seen
way
him.
to like.
Stop playing
yeah.
with the grass. Kick the ball.
That's
Dude,
pretty
it's
much
the
what it
same way
was.
when he coached flag football last year.
I won
It was
the
the funniest
championship
thing. I'd
last
go
year,
and
too.
watch all
Yeah.
his kids. His kids were out there just dancing on the field. There's a ball going up and down the field. You know what I mean? Like, what are you guys doing?
We're here to have fun.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I get it, 100%. There's nothing wrong with that. I always tell my kids is like, I don't care what they do. I just want them to do something.
Yeah.
Like, and I love moto. If they love to do moto, cool. If they don't, whatever, dude. It's not the end of the world for me. Okay, so
Let's jump into this race.
We look at some races.
yeah, so
I'm so happy that there's a TV up there because I'm watching you guys on
And
the
you're
show.
like, why are you
And you're
looking
like
up?
looking up, and I'm like, dude, look at the camera. He's like,
Truthfully, what it is, I'm just
but
sick and tired of
you're
looking at him.
Shut up.
You know
You're
what
so
I mean?
What's that?
I'm sick and tired of looking at him, so that's why I just
yeah,
look
you're just
straight,
trying to look
you
away
know?
at this point.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, it's 2 against 1 now, buddy, so bring it on.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I think no. Okay. Anyways,
I paid him off before he walked in.
I know you did. Is we usually try to like watching the races, and that's what you made the comment of. Is when he first got in here, is he didn't know that we had the races on, and like we were watching up here. And so we're in the living room, not in my regular man cave, but don't worry, I brought the Viking photo up here. Have you even seen it? I brought, because people comment on that all the time, dude. And so I'm like,
We
all right,
got to
I'll
make
bring
sure
it in
it's
here.
in every freaking podcast.
Yeah, it's like one of those dumb things.
Wow.
That's his
people
prized
point out.
possession right there.
My wife got
as
that
it
for
should
me.
be.
Guaranteed.
got that for
when
me.
he goes and lays down in bed at night, do you know what I mean? Him and his wife date night. That's what he wears.
Dude, she
100%.
prefers me to wear the Viking costume.
100%.
It's
That's what
just
he
got
wears.
nothing on
Yeah,
after.
why?
Just
You
the,
don't need
the
anything
little
else.
kilt looking
You don't
thing.
need anything else.
The
Why-
leather,
for sure.
leather
Yeah.
patch.
He does.
You
All right,
guys,
press play. Dude.
So what?
idiot.
So like last week being the Triple Crown, and have they always done the Triple Crown champion of the Triple Crowns? Or was
That's
that
the first
new?
time I've
remember
ever
that.
noticed that.
That was
new.
I do not recall. And people in the comments, if we're wrong, say it. We are going to be wrong
feel
a
like
lot.
that's the first time.
I do not remember them ever
I don't
saying,
remember seeing it either.
"Hey, here's the Triple Crown winner or champion." And what really bothered me, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Earlier today, I saw Yamaha posted something on Instagram, and it was Eli and Cooper up on the podium, and they were holding up the number ones. Both of them were holding up number ones, and I'm like, "You didn't win the race, Cooper. Like Tomac did." You
He
know,
won
like
the Triple Crown. He should have. He should have held up a 3.
I know it'd been like one of these. Yeah. Well,
true.
then it's awkward because then you're like, "What are you doing? Shouting out Tomac?" You know, like it just to me that bothered me. I
I've
don't know
never
why.
seen them do that though, where they
Yeah.
crowned a Triple Crown champion.
I'll
like
hit
that,
play.
All right.
But-
So are we?
You don't
are we
have
gonna
to
watch this on the show?
No, you don't have to watch it. It's just like one of those things where you can look up and we'll talk about. What I wanted to talk about is apparently there's a rumor going around that after Limegate, they have not been able, and you may or may not be able to comment on this. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. Something's going on with the dirt where it's breaking down way quicker than it ever has in the
This
past.
whole season's been super ruddy.
And I don't know. Apparently, they're not putting drying agents in the dirt and like all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true or not. But it's kind of gotten to the point where I don't really care for the tracks that much this year. I think this track was pretty good.
This track was fairly dry, but it's always going to be a little bit rutted. The problem with the ruts are the horsepower, horsepower and torque is off the charts. It's only gotten more and more and more with each passing year.
Yeah.
The tires that they would use on a night like in St. Louis, you're not using like what in my day in the 90s was going to be your sort of mid-terrain. You get your hard pack, your mid-terrain,
Yeah.
and then your like sand mud tire.
Right.
They use basically a sand mud tire everywhere. So
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
so and they work the track with the dozers and all this stuff, so the dirt never really hardens up like it used to. And then you get to some place like in Las Vegas and whatnot where the dirt was really hard and always Blue Groove. They do a really good job of getting it wet and keeping the dirt moving, so that it's not super Blue Groove and all that.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know,
think there's been one race this season that's had Blue Groove.
No, but I think the thing with the ruts is I mean, it's not like the heavy equipment is different than what it used to be.
No, it's all the same.
I personally, I can't see that there would be something that they would be using different additives or not using additives in the dirt to make it that. I just think it's the force of the bike that jumps. So the speed, the force, the horsepower, and then the tire.
And
whenever there's a race where they can use the paddle type scoop tire, like forget about it. Why do you think Pro Motocross? Well, with Pro Motocross, they intentionally make the tracks
which I love.
that, which I don't. But then it forces, because the tracks are over prepped, then you have no choice but to use the scoop, because now it's okay to use the scoop. So not even a sand/mud tire that you might have used in the 90s.
Right.
That's like your mid-terrain tire now.
Yeah.
So if you've got the bike in one line, you've got a 450 that's got 80 horsepower, a ton of torque, and a scoop tire on it, what do you
just
think's going to
ripping away.
happen? It just
Ripping away the dirt.
ruts everything out. Yeah. I mean, it ain't like riding Saddleback back in the 70s and all that. I thought that was Garfield or something.
You can play with Garfield if you
toss
want.
it,
I
dude.
can
No,
give you a
that's
cap.
good.
It
So
It actually
I just
matches
think,
your shirt
I
pretty
mean,
good.
does actually work really well with that.
Blends in.
So I don't have a problem with that. I think that it's just the nature of it.
Did you see Kenny doing the little side saddle running thing.
I mean, have you seen what he does for training? He's a very athletic individual. Have you seen with his
he's
shirt off? Well, I know you
extremely-
have, but
Okay,
You
brought it up.
admit it, but it's like
You brought it up.
I'm telling
I
you,
didn't-
he's got another picture in
He
the
knows
room
exactly-
of Kenny with his shirt off.
he knows
looking like
exactly
that.
what
You've
his
been in the
tattoos
room a
are and
million
everything.
times. You're an idiot.
That's why I know what's in
guarantee.
there.
Dude, don't even start. Okay.
saying.
Before
It's in
before I
there,
even
dude.
came over, I said, "Oh, Robbie's gonna come. We'll have somebody make fun of him." He goes, "Oh yeah, so we can gang up on you, or
right.
no, you're to make fun of or whatever."
Yeah.
Screw you. You both are idiots.
It's all good, dude.
No, I'll hit
Because
you
you know
both
what's
with
going
the
to happen
idiot
is
charm.
because we're going to kick you off this podcast, and it's going to be the
Go
Jeff
for
and
it.
Robbie show.
Go for it. You walk
It's
in.
got a good ring to it.
It does, huh?
It does.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
And he'll probably pay me more too.
Double his salary. What he gets now. You want to know what he gets
Yeah.
now?
Water.
The water.
You got one of those?
Yeah,
No,
these
dude,
are
I got
for
it.
you.
I got it.
Yeah, my
these
wife
are
did
gifts?
Yeah, my wife
I'm checking
made
those
these.
out. These are pretty nice.
So she tries to do like something like custom for it being like the first like official guest. You know what I mean? Like that we've had on. And so she
very
put my
honored.
logo on
Thank
one
you,
side.
guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Well,
So,
Ruth, thank you, Ruth.
oh yeah, they always have. They always.
But yes, Kenny without a shirt on. Yeah, you've seen him plenty of times.
This it was disappointing that he had that problem with the engine and
Radiator,
all that,
right?
and then after that you could tell he's like, I wasn't comfortable riding my spare bike, and
How different is the spare bike?
I don't know, it shouldn't be right.
You would not think
You
it would
think
be
it'd be
different at
exactly
all.
It
the
shouldn't
same.
be, but they, if it doesn't have as much time and the seats
would
a
be the
little
thing. Yeah.
soft, I don't know. It's I don't know. MotoGP guys, man, they go and like
They don't care.
Triple Crown's the only race that you're allowed to switch out bikes, right?
Yeah, you're allowed to bring two bikes
For Triple Crowns, right?
Yeah.
Because in
Correct.
a normal race, you're not allowed to jump on a practice bike. Isn't that correct?
No, you're not allowed to
I'm
switch
pretty
bikes.
sure.
You have to have one that. Well,
What did he do right there though when he like kicked his foot?
I think
Remember
his
that?
foot came off. Yeah,
but it was a weird.
It is weird. But what I'm pretty sure what happened is it went back to the ruts. There was a rut on the face of the jump, and if you look at one of the other angles, it looks like his foot comes off. And then you know how like when you get kind of bucked off the bike a little bit,
Oh, I know all
you
about it.
pull,
Oh, yeah.
you pull like yourself back to get back
Yeah.
on. I think that's why. But when somebody was announcing and they said like, oh, it looked like his like bike shut off or something. I don't think it was. He could have killed the bike and then restarted it when he landed. I don't know.
Maybe.
You
I'll
know.
start that, baby.
It was a good race though.
It was a good race.
I'm kind of still. I mean, right? The whole Triple Crown format started when I was still broadcasting with Supercross, and I kind of had mixed feelings about it. Mainly because if you don't, qualify in the top 22, boom, you're out.
You're out.
So it's like kind of
Nichols,
thinking
almost.
about the the privateer, the support guys of this and that.
It sucks.
But you have to admit the racing being shorter, seeing the top stars racing more, throughout the the 3-hour night program. I mean,
It's got its pros and
pretty
cons.
good. Yeah, it definitely does.
So I thought it was an okay track layout. I didn't think it was anything like over the top, but it did give us good racing, which I've been like begging for good racing for a while now. I mean, besides the 250 class, Kitchen freaking waxed everybody.
Yeah,
But-
and I like this kid a lot.
I do too.
I didn't realize that he was 23 years old.
So he's a little older on the 250
A lot
class.
older.
Yeah.
This is what,
Well,
his
when you
second year or third
But-
year?
So I
Second
actually
year?
third
It's definitely his third.
is
for sure.
What,
Third.
But
oh
then
yeah,
you think
no,
about it-
because 21 he rode Loretta's.
yes, correct. And
So
yeah, he did get a
22.
late start.
So yeah, it's third.
Yeah.
No.
So
21, 22, 23.
No, he
we're
rode
not-
Loretta's in 21.
Oh, okay, so it is the second year then.
idiot, whatever.
What
we
is
don't
it,
know.
dude? Hey.
We don't know, dude. We don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Jagger, come on, hit the. All right.
Yeah, so
So yeah, he is a little bit older in the 250 class.
yeah,
Yes.
23, but I think that he's really shown his true potential. I thought the racing was great. It's the biggest surprise of this championship is really Joe Shimoda, like
I
his
agree.
lack of
I
wins
picked
and
him
results.
for the title. I picked him.
Yeah, and it's just really surprising. I guess I like the kid. I think
I do too. He's
rides
a really
well,
good
and
kid.
He's just like, yeah, it's
It's a new bike problem or just a Shimoda problem?
I don't know. They talk about that stuff, but it's
Shimoda
like
problem. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
dude?
Shimoda problem.
I don't know. I've never heard of a Shimoda problem, but maybe.
Say it could be
Yeah.
like his own thing, you know what I mean, or is it a
Yeah.
bike issue? But do you think Levi's doing better now that he's on pro circuit than he was on Star, obviously. But do you think that was a bike thing?
Well, you just find the chemistry. You find your right chemistry, and that all of those things starting to work together, and then you start to gel with the bike. And I mean, this thing with Joe, maybe he's just not gelling with the bike. His starts haven't been there, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing also that really caught me, and I'm always going to have a little chip on my shoulder about this, is you've got guys like Hampshire and Smith that have literally been in the class for a decade.
Dude, they're almost as old as I am.
Yeah. Right.
Kind of like Craig.
I almost pointed out my first full season because of how the advancement points, you'd get points for 125 motocross. If you rode 250 Supercross, you'd get points, all this. So it was a lot different. And, even Carmichael needed one more year.
Yeah.
Like he says, man, I wish I'd had one more year.
But he wasn't allowed to.
But it's like, it's crazy that these guys have been in this class for so long when, sort of conceptually it's a development class, right? But
that's what the
way the rules work. And I'd be doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong. Like I'd go wherever I can make the most money for my family and results and the whole thing. But I guess at this point, let's don't refer to it as a development class.
No, agreed.
Because it's not.
There's so many of those guys that are worried to bump up to the 450s because they see so many guys bump up to 450s and they don't do that well.
Yeah.
So why not stick in a class?
Well, and think about but think about what happened from the mid 90s when McGrath had won 72 main events, and then along comes Carmichael, Reed, Stewart, these guys. There was a time where we did a Supercross season preview show for CBS.
Yeah.
Stanton, McGrath, Carmichael, myself, and Ralph hosted. And at the time,
I love Ralph, by the way.
I'm going to say it was 2010, 2009, something like that. There had been 77 125/light/250 main event winners. There had been 35 different champions. Of those champions, there had been like 7, 8, 9 that had won 2 championships, right? You've got your Swinks, your Fonsecas, your Pichons, your Huffmans, all these guys, right? Yeah. And yet, so many of those guys that were 2-time champions had failed to even win a single 450 main event. Yeah. Huffman won 1 as the night he jumped the gate in Atlanta, but I'm over it. I got second that night. Yeah. But he won 1. Mm-hmm. He was a 2-time 125 champion and he won 1 main event. And it's because you went from McGrath to Carmichael to these guys that you had 4 guys right in a row that became the winningest 4 riders in the sport. Yeah. And so guys that were amazing 250 guys, they couldn't do it. They couldn't,
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's balanced out some. All that those numbers have softened a little.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me is that the good thing is that obviously people in the 250 class are making a good living being in the 250 class, which I'm happy about because then it means there's more money in the sport, right? And I'll always be kind of partial to RJ only because he's one of the earliest riders that have kind of showed me support. From the get-go when I started this whole thing. Oh, yeah. And so I've always been damn, I kind of want to root him on a little bit. But Kitchen has been awesome too. Like all these guys are awesome. But it is interesting to see hey, how long they're going to be in it for. But I think RJ bumps up next year. I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's time.
Red Cross.
I do want to get to, this is the biggest thing I wanted to talk about because I'm pissed off about the whole Jett Lawrence thing.
I mean, I'm sure on every show this week, everybody's covering it as they should be.
Do you not care?
No, I think that it's a valid point. And you look at it, you're like, isn't there an official that maybe could have gone out on the start straight coming into the finish line turn? I mean, the point is like you've got, I watched one clip from Cooper Webb. He's like, you got the white flag waving, you got the red cross is static. We're down here, and then we're looking up, and we're on the left side of the track, and you're kind of, you just kind of see it out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And so it seems like there should be more. Like I didn't look at the rule book whether it's only supposed to be static or do they ever wave the red cross?
I don't know either, to be honest with you.
Right.
But so the reason
They don't.
they just hold it.
They're just holding.
It's one of those things also, like, was it a really dangerous situation? I know the flag
Freeze was off to the side.
in
That's
between
why.
the jumps?
Yeah, in between.
How did he get there?
That was Vince.
Yeah, it was Vince.
How did you get
Vince.
there?
Freeze, you're causing a lot of problems this year, bro.
Vince caused that. You know?
Like, but he was down in the middle of it, and
Vince gets blamed for
I know.
everything.
But the problem is when you're always in one place at the wrong time, and it just happens to all be the common denominator
trust
of him.
Trust me, I
just
backed
saying.
Vince. I backed Vince a number of times.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed in the World Supercross thing a couple of years ago. He kind of lost my backing because of that one.
Was that with
But the
Craig?
thing is, no, that was with Brayton.
Oh,
down
that's
in
right,
Australia.
Brayden. Yeah, Brayden.
But the thing is you could take and isolate any one of Vince's situations. Take the start where he came from the outside. Well, who did that a couple weeks ago? Deegan.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the analysts and people have no problem with that if it's Deegan.
Of course.
Oh,
But
people
with
always
its
have
Vince.
favorites.
So I always try to I try to look at this thing fair and balanced and try not to, especially when I was on the broadcast. And because of that, I go, hold on a second. If we isolate just this, you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you can go, well, good, bad, whatever the situation is. But the problem with Freezy is, like you said, there's just too many things that start to stack up against you where you're the common denominator in too many things.
My problem is, it is 2024, the year of our Lord, right? How can we not have some kind of communication to these riders for lappers, for flags, for anything like that? Like, I have heard one thing real quick where people are like, "Oh, you can't talk in somebody's ear when you ride motocross. It can mess with them and it can be dangerous." I'm like, dude, then put a little beep. Like,
I'm sure somebody's tested it. I remember when we first started the Monster Energy Cup, right? I was on the broadcast back then. So these were all the things that the Monster Energy Cup was going to give us the opportunity to test.
I remember that. Yeah.
And in the end, other than it being a 3-race format, that none of that stuff really materialized.
Yeah,
and
which I would have loved to see.
That's the proving ground to do those things and to do some tests with it. In those situations, I don't like the light on the bike. I heard that this week. Hey, let's put some sort of blinking light. I
don't like that either.
But I think that if the situation came about, you can pause that right there, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But if the situation came about where the riders were all used to that, and in practice at the races, in free practice, riders go off for their first lap. Hey, this is such official. You would have to get used to it as for it to not affect your concentration. I mean, F1 drivers have a million different things that they're doing, and NASCAR drivers and everybody, and they're communicating with them. So it would have to be something that they would then have to practice,
Slowly
and they get used to. And in that situation, it definitely would have helped.
I just think that it's just to the point now we're holding the sport back by not doing something for the riders, because what's going to happen is it's going to affect a championship, which is millions of dollars, which I think it can be an easier fix than what they're making it out to be. But this is me sitting on the couch. This is me.
You guys figure a lot of shit out here every Saturday night.
I have solved.
You're a big-time media guy. What are you talking about?
I am.
Throw your opinion out there on the internet too.
I have, dude. That's what I told you, man. You understand throwing your opinion out on the freaking internet. You all of a sudden become the scapegoat for everything.
Dude, it was the greatest thing.
You think I don't understand that?
I know you do.
I knew once I threw Hayden's name out there that it was all his fault.
Oh my gosh.
I knew it. I knew it was going to bring views. I knew it was going to bring drama.
Don't be clickbaity. Don't
That wasn't
do that.
clickbait. I was actually
He just
saying
said it
that.
was. He just said it was clickbait.
Hey, listen.
No, you listen.
Hey, I bring most of the views for you, okay? So
Oh my gosh.
Just remember that.
Okay.
No, but throwing your opinion out there on all that,
Yeah, it's a lot.
dude.
Try being the analyst
I know.
on the broadcast.
This isn't.
And it took me years to get in the right place. And the producer of the Supercross and Motocross shows, this guy Chris Bond.
Yeah, you told me
Bondo.
about him. Yeah.
So I used to get a lot of shit from Ken Hudgens, who was the head of broadcast for Feld. He's like, Jeff, you can't be on the fence. Good, bad, yes, no, right, wrong. You go, well, pick. It's this, and kind of this, you kind of this. He's like, bullshit. You're the analyst. Right, wrong, good, bad.
Agree.
You're the expert. And Bondo gave me this newspaper clipping out of the USA Today. You guys remember newspapers? When they had newspapers?
We're old enough.
And it was an interview
with... We were fans of you. We're old enough, okay?
It was an interview with Chris Collinsworth, the legendary NFL player.
Yeah.
It was It was still an analyst, right?
Yeah.
And basically, he's like, for years, I would kind of pull my opinion. I'd kind of hold back, thinking that by doing this, I was friends with the athletes and they'd want to like think I'm cool. And he's like, dude, I'm some crusty old has-been player. Like these young guys, we have nothing in common. They don't want to be friends with me. You do your job. I'll do my job. And in the end, if what I'm saying is true, or I'm allowed to have my opinion, end of story. If you don't like it, too bad.
Agreed.
And that I think that once I got in that place, I was a much better broadcaster. But like take, for instance, I've known Eli Tomac since he was just a little guy. And known the family and all that sort of stuff. Well, somewhere in the 2017, 2018 time period, he didn't like how I was calling the race. And our relationship really, like, I don't ever speak to him. Because I can see him at track walk or something. We would never even say hello.
But you knew him for that.
I don't know. Am I an asshole because I am an asshole, which could be true. You just don't like who I am. Or is it my race call because I have to do my job and you do your job and I'll do my job, right? And so those guys, like, I didn't talk to James Stewart for 3 years.
Oh, really?
You know, things like that. And it's like, then you get in that position where you have to call what you see. Right?
You can't be worried about
and the internet, of course, is like mental when it comes to all these things.
You mean people on the internet have weird, odd opinions about things?
Yeah, like dudes that sit on their couch and watch Supercross every Saturday night.
You watch it. I'm just saying, you're hating on, but
sometimes I watch the mains.
I stand up sometimes.
I did this week. I had some time. I was sitting there. You know how you can take a photo and you can make a sticker?
Yeah. You press on it and hold it or whatever.
I'm sitting there, so I'm in a constant text with Jett and Ricky and Ray Butts from United Motorsports, another buddy of ours, Jimmy. And so the five of us are on this like constant, like the text thread probably goes back 5 years or something. And so I make these stickers and I start sending them through to Ricky as he's on air, like doing the opening of the show. He's in his suit. He's like, bro, are you bored or what? I go, it's just Lee, you and myself right now. So I'm just on the deal. And so like, as the race is happening, you know, even when I was the analyst, like we've got text and feedback and stuff coming from our friends and different people and all.
So you actually like, have you looked at your phone like and getting texts when you were announcing and stuff like that?
Race.
No shit. I don't know why I always thought it was like completely like off limits.
Bondo.
Yeah, like but like you would think like, oh, you're not allowed to have your phone.
Commercials and whatnot. And especially once you get comfortable with what you're doing, it's all good and you kind of get your flow going. And like I said, you got your buddies like, you know, giving you shit about something or hey, you know, what about that? You go, okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I
got a question. Does Ricky ever come to you for advice
on announcing?
Broadcast booth?
No.
Not really?
No, I mean, I know when I was out and he was in, the nature of how all of that went, I just made sure that I was, you know, super supportive of the situation. And like every now and then, you know, but we had worked together so many times. You know, he did
a lot of them.
8 of the races. He would do half the races each year. So not like, you know, he had never been in that position before. But we just constantly communicated, and that's why when we started Real Talk 447, you know, Sunday comes around, he's flying home from the race, and we're sitting there like, oh, man, what about this red cross flag situation? And then we're like, dude, we should. And you know, podcasting was still in its infancy, kind of, and so that's when we would start to talk about that. Like, oh, we should do a show and like break down these things. Yeah, and it's great because just like what you guys are doing and all of the different entities, it's like you find the team or the personalities that you like, you gravitate towards those, and the more shoulder programming that can be done, the better for the sport.
I
now,
agree.
for us, compared to like, let's say NFL, where you've got, 6 different networks that have like full blown, multi-million-dollar shows, the financial level that we're at is people doing podcasts. That's what's financially feasible in our sport.
Not having like a full-on studio of Fox guys.
Yeah, you got right. You got NFL Live and all that sort of.
Yeah, you have everything.
You could turn your garage into a full-blown studio.
You got money
I need to
throw
talk
in
to
it or
Ruth
what?
about that first.
Thank you.
Does she park in the garage?
No, she doesn't park in the garage. We have a gym.
So you already have her. Oh, you already
no,
have
my
her
garage
parking
is
outside?
me. The garage is me.
Okay.
Like that's
She'd be
mine.
for it, for sure.
Okay, it's not that, dude. You don't understand how much it is to do that.
Well,
like
Dude,
all of this money for 23 Media and everything comes from 23 Media revenue, which is not very significant.
Well, once we get over 100 followers on the 23
dude,
Moto podcast,
please follow my
and
Moto
then the
podcast
money
show.
starts to ramp up. Either new home or we'll build someplace out back, or just build a
Down with
studio or
that.
something. Yeah.
So I've had thousands of views.
You know what?
Hold
I
on.
think we just came
Hold
up
on.
with the third co-host right now.
Bro.
He's got all the brains behind everything.
Yeah.
I got the good looks. You got
The idiot.
you
Yeah,
bring
I know.
you bring just whatever.
Jeff
23.
is not going to bring himself to our
I'll
level.
bring the brains. You bring the
Good looks.
personality, and you bring
The kilt. I'll bring the kilt.
I was going to refer to as the bank account and the finances.
What?
to
I don't
build
have
out-
the bank account.
to build out.
That's what I just told you.
Bring the 23
That's what I just
money.
told you. I don't have that bank
Bring the
account.
23 money.
No.
Okay.
So what regardless is once that starts going a little bit more, I plan on doing all that stuff. It's one of those things where I don't want to go too fast, too quick.
Yeah.
And I like how organic this is. I like how this is just us being real.
No,
and
it's
I don't want it to ever be a thing. Do I want to eventually do the garage? I will. Like my boy Jesse at Epoxy It, he's going to do the garage. I'm going to get cabinets, like all that stuff.
Ooh,
like
that's nice.
I'll make it like super nice, and then I will have that more of like a studio.
think
It's just in time.
One of our favorite things is this. You got two brothers that are hanging out, watching and talking about what we absolutely love doing. You know what I mean? And I think that makes it a little more authentic, and I can pick on him, he can pick on me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it makes it better.
Well, and that's when it comes to the broadcasting thing, I really miss it. And I miss the responsibility of it, and that once you are really conscious of that, you're in people's living rooms or whatever every Saturday night. And I think that during my time period, because I worked with Ralph for those 12 years, Ralph and I being the two main players, and then Ricky would dip in for half the races. There was the one year where we had McGrath and Wyndham as guests. We went from Aaron Bates to Jenny Taft and all the other fill-ins at times. You get that sort of chemistry down, and I feel like that during that time period, especially 17, 18, I mean,
It was good.
Our chemistry was great. It was super fun. I hope that that's how it was when you guys were watching it.
I've told you before, and this isn't to brown nose you, it's just I gravitate to certain people of how they announce. I liked the way that you announce because it was like you would kind of get excited the same way I would.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and then you told me the story where you would see stuff off camera and you would be so excited to talk about it, but then you can't because it's not on the TV screen and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, it's just, so I do miss that aspect of it.
Well, I posted that one last week. Every now and then something pops up, and that race in St. Louis, and like being in those moments and all that, like that Villapoto Dungey battle where Villapoto, crashed, broke his leg, and all that being in those moments with the athletes, that's all authentic excitement. And then I was texting, or Reed was sending me a DM, and we were chatting about some things. And then one of my all-time favorite races, main events, was A2 in 14, I think. Reed's on a Cowie. He passes Stewart for the lead.
Was that his team?
Yeah, the 2-2 Cowie. He passes Stewart for the lead with like just a couple laps to go. And it's Ricky, Ralph, myself, and we're literally standing up, and I'm banging on the table. And Bondo's like, "What's that banging noise?" Talking to the A1 guy. "What's that banging noise? What is that?" It's like, oh shit, sorry, Bondo, that's me. You know, and that was and it was one of my favorite. I mean, there was a lot of really, you know, exciting moments, but the nature of that. And I was telling Reed I got to do that. That was like one of my favorite ones.
That was pretty.
And I tried to find a clip, but I couldn't find the race on YouTube. I only found like the bar to bar, like a recap.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't the actual race. It was just the.
Dude, I'm sure it's
like
somewhere in the YouTube archives.
After checkered flag or whatever, something like that we did. So
yeah. All right,
let's get into this.
Oh, the Bam Bam Ram.
This is supposed to be a race recap.
Yeah, it is. But when you have somebody like Jeff here, it kind of you tend to go off topic a little bit.
That's what I was gonna say. I agree.
But yeah, so Jett hitting the eject button.
Okay. So put a poll.
Dude, I felt so bad for this whole situation.
Cut down.
It's not as easy.
Or was it Barsha? Tebow.
100%.
So,
dude, way more people
I
voted.
put a lot of thought into this because we had that same situation, and I think Title 24 and Ricky and I were texting about it like Sunday. There was the Anaheim one where Stewart cuts down on the first lap and Dungey T-bones him, right?
Correct.
Knocked him out. So it's a similar situation, and it's really nobody's fault. It's a racing incident, but I want to tell you, like cerebrally.
Look at
why that happens is so Barsha is Barsha, and he's got Freezy on the inside of him, so he's got when you're in the middle of the pack, the first lap, right? You're blocking all these insides and all this stuff. So a rider like Jett, and he's it's not like I'm not picking on him about it or saying anything specifically, but like Stewart, when it happened to him, and I don't remember what year that was, it comes from like riding a practice track by yourself a lot.
Not having to worry. Yeah.
Leading a lot of races. You're kind of used to just going wherever you want to go. And your instincts they fail you in a way because you're so used to just being able to go wherever you want to go. He's not ever thinking that. If you're riding in 15th, 16th, 17th on the first lap of the race, you're watching, you're inside, you're outside, you're all this.
Yeah, you're all
But
over.
if you're so used to kind of being out front and you're in all this, you're racing in a different place. And in that situation, he's thinking, all he could think about was what was in front of him, and I'm going to cut down. He there wasn't a thought across his mind that somebody would be there.
Bam Bam was very quick.
On the inside,
and that's the same thing that happened.
Cut everybody off that's behind him. So
and so to defend the riders with Barsha and then Freezy he didn't even hit anyone, but he was a part of this
because
one.
I told you
he went in the vicinity. But like
it's always there.
A few years back, when Dungey, they triple in and Stewart just cuts down.
Yeah.
Well, Dungey's not the type of rider. You're not gonna quote put him as that he got Dungey'd.
Yeah.
But James made that turn so quick.
Yeah.
And same thing with Jett. He makes their turn so quick, and that maybe now going forward, if he was in a similar situation next weekend or weekend after, he's going to have that experience, and there's going to be a marker set, right,
in his head.
That okay, I better make sure that where it's first lap, let everything sort out.
When I first saw it, I was like, Barsha, what the fuck did you just do? Because you first see it, you're like, dude, you just took that dude out.
But those guys could have easily, on the first lap where things gets messy, guys could easily just go tight there too.
Yeah.
It's not the racing line.
Yeah.
So like Jett was riding the racing line when the race hadn't really established itself yet.
Correct.
I mean, it's not like I've got any sort of like, brilliant epiphany here.
Yeah.
We all watch the same thing, but the point is like Barsha didn't go in and intentionally.
So that's what I realized is.
That wasn't intentional.
No, it wasn't
because he lost 10 spots out of the deal.
But at first, it was more of like, why did you do that? And then a lot of people, that's all they think of, and they go, why did Barsha do that? What an idiot. And then they go online and they spread all the stuff of like, he ran him on purpose. And then I'm like, I could see that if you look at it very quickly, like, oh yeah, Barsha, what the hell? But then you look at like a lot of the replays or a lot of the cell phone clips and stuff like that, and you're like, dude, he had no choice.
No, he was
in a nose wheelie the whole time. Like he couldn't even stop the bike.
I mean, you really do have to make sure that you're rolling those turns, especially when it's a 180 on the first lap. You got to be conscious of what's happening there on your inside. And to be honest, the way that some of the lines form, especially when the track gets rutted, you got the outside line and then it drops down, tighter. You know, you get late into some main events where it's like they're about a third of the way through the bowl turn, they're cutting down. So the inside of the turn's here, and you're exiting the turn literally a couple of feet from where somebody could be coming into the turn.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that more head-on type situations don't happen when guys are really battling it out and the track gets rutted.
I was worried that if he didn't hit Jett, I think Barsha would have went flying off the track. Like, I don't think he would have stopped in time. Like, because he was flying, and it didn't look like he was going to be able to stop. But
I mean, Barsha is one of those guys that has had a bit of a reputation.
Yes.
He's obviously a more mature rider now.
Right.
He ain't looking to go out there and hurt himself or anybody else.
I've never seen him stop and like look apologetic after doing something like that. So that's when I knew. I was like, I don't think that was on purpose.
Yeah, you think Freezy was like, damn.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't me.
But he probably had to have known he was going to get involved in that somehow, just because
he still got. Dude, I had so many DMs on my thing where
Is he down? Did he go down too?
Freeze? No, he kept going. I had so many DMs that I put, was it Barsha's fault or Jett's fault? And I had a bunch of DMs saying freeze. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. I'm like, all right, like just blaming him for no reason. There we go. I have I want to get your thoughts on something, and maybe you can explain why. I saw Tomac came out and he said that he's been dealing with ankle issues or foot issues or whatever, and he's just now coming out like, oh, it's starting to feel better. I understand not wanting to make excuses. I get that. But why, after he wins, would he then come out with that news?
Well, because now you're okay to say it. You know, you can.
So it just doesn't.
Or the
matter.
weakness isn't there now because he won.
I didn't
because
like it.
Trust me, do broadcast for 12 seasons and then you call something a certain way. And then it comes out next week, oh, the guy's knee is blown out. And you're like, well, if you had told us.
Yeah, you wouldn't have called it that way.
So you go out there, your guy that's supposed to win, you go out and you get a third. Oh, he had an off night, right?
Yeah.
You go out there and go, oh, I blew my knee out the week before.
It's like,
I can't even stand up.
He put in a hell of a ride.
And he got a third. All of a sudden, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So trust me, that's something that we dealt with on the broadcast side. And I don't know what it is. The nature of our business is that I can't explain it, but you, as a rider, you just don't want to show any weakness. And you don't want to give the competition any little bit of nugget to.
I just think it's dumb. Like, it was one of those things where I saw him do that, and I'm like, why? Like, what was the point of even saying this? Like, to me, is like, hey, I'm not giving the results that I want right now, because I would much rather somebody know that I was having an ankle issue, and that's why I was getting 7th and 8th place, than, I don't know, can't figure it out. My bike,
Was it the same? Is it the same foot?
Whoa, bro, chill out, dude.
An ankle injury or an elbow injury. Was it the same foot that he did the Achilles in?
I don't know. I didn't ask that. That is a good question, though. But he didn't. As far as I know, he didn't. Nobody said it was part of the Achilles, so I don't think so. But it could have been part of it. I don't freaking know. Everything's so secret in this industry. It's dumb. It's dumb. That's my opinion.
With the Achilles thing, I mean, I was so heartbroken for him. It's like,
that was sad.
He's going to go into his 3rd championship.
Yep.
Separate himself. Had the race won. The title was in the bag. Webb had gotten hurt. Sexton was all these points back. And an Achilles.
I know.
That it's like, when's the last guy that had an Achilles rupture? Like, never.
Yeah, you never.
I mean, not that I can even recall, right?
There are people that have them, but I just can't remember what the names were.
Yeah, and what was interesting, did you guys see the boot test I did for MX Locker?
I did see
right?
that.
I tested.
That was rad. That was a good job.
So that was real honest feedback. And so from what I understand, the Alpine Star guys, that you and Fox guys and everybody, you have the ability as the factory pro racer, if you want to have the construction of your boot different, you get it different. And that with the Alpine Star, at least the production boot that I wore, I felt that it would really protect against an Achilles hyperflexion, right? And so I'm thinking, damn, because some people complain about the Instinct that it allows you a lot of flexion, which is your toes to your shin is flexion. The other way is extension. And I'm just like thinking, because I hadn't worn Alpine Star forever, I'm thinking, wow, I really felt like there was a lot of structure to protect against that. Yeah. And then he has that. So it's just one of these things where on that day the racing gods just did not show.
Yeah, it was just
because how do you explain that? Like like, oh, he's out of shape, or or like not physically fitted. Like, no, it's just the most random thing. I was so bummed for him.
I never want to see a championship end like that. No, it's like, I'd rather good racing happen or whatever. That's just not the way that anything, especially such a weird fluke thing.
So so you guys do the weekly fantasy?
Yeah. Bro, don't even. Okay,
I forget half the time.
Terrible.
No, we're not, dude. I'm the best at it. I'm pulling everybody out of the water.
How many points you scored
right now? Or for the
how many points you scored? Because the first time you did it, you scored like 10. And you're
fantasy,
he scored.
So I do it with with a couple of friends. Nothing major, but
you doing pole or RM?
RM,
That's what I'm doing.
Rocky Mountain, yeah, and
no free shots.
But I forget half the time. But I had Tomac multiple times this year. I had him as first.
Yeah, and you just didn't get it.
And I'm like, no, dude. I'm telling you, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back. Yeah. So it's like, and then last week I forgot my picks until like after the first races were over, and then I'm like, oh shit.
And then he got it.
I don't know if I would have picked Tomac this week.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't have. No.
I wouldn't have picked Tomac.
I didn't pick him for first. I put Jett for first, and then I put Tomac.
That's what you should have done. That was the right move.
And then I'm like, because I didn't think Tomac was gonna win it.
But
and go figure, he freaking wins.
I forget which year it was. 17, 16, 17. Tomac kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah.
He won by like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that race. And it was one of the events that when I was the analyst and we're calling the race, I'm going, you guys, this is brilliant. This guy is on another level. Nobody's got nothing.
Dude,
they
it's
have
crazy
nothing.
when he gets on it.
He's a big Tomac guy.
Yeah.
Big Tomac guy. He's a big
points-wise, how far back is he?
He's a big 3 guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, big 3 guy.
Yeah, but at the time, he was number 1.
How many is he? Is there any chance that Tomac could
He's like 30-something, but Webb is like 16.
No, it's 8 now.
Or 8. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. 8. And I think maybe Sexton might be 16 or something.
That's...
But I'm...
Dude, there's always a chance. Look what happened last year.
There is. But 2 things like that happening, you never know.
Is Jett going to be out of the season now?
No.
Is he going to be hurt?
I don't know.
Is he hurt?
Why are you yelling at me, dude?
He rode he rode.
He rode the rest of it. You chill out, all right?
So what Honda put out a press release saying that he is banged up, but they didn't. And they said we don't know if anything is broken yet.
That was what was weird about it. Is they said they have to confirm things, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. Yeah, I was so I'm in the same position you are. Is he rode afterwards, and I was like, if you're riding afterwards, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to.
That's true.
It's easier to ride that night of the injury than it is once it sets in, and if there's some sort of injury and then the swelling gets in place.
You see Cincerello's ankle?
No. Oh, he didn't look comfortable.
Oh, dude, it looked bad. It was like bruised, black and blue, like all this stuff. Like it was bad. And what he said is, so Cincerello, when he went down, he tried riding again. He couldn't, obviously. He went back to the truck, got his boot off.
He could barely get on the bike.
When he said like nothing was broken, nothing was structurally damaged. It's just he had a high ankle sprain. So he said if he could have gotten his boot back on, he would have ridden because they shot it up, I'm sure, with pain meds or something.
Yeah, but at this point,
but he was like, I just couldn't ride. But his ankle was bad. It was gnarly.
So take you a little trip down memory lane. So 97, I'm leading Supercross championship going into St. Louis on press
Home
day,
race.
which was Friday,
race.
essentially.
Yeah.
So Friday afternoon, we had like a press type practice day, and there was a double and then double like an on-off, but it had like a little pocket in it to a backward ski jump. Well, my bike bogs on me, and I endo into the face of the jump, and I catch the bars right above my brace.
Yeah.
And my entire leg.
Hematoma?
Oh, yeah. So I wake up Saturday morning in the hotel room so I'm points leader. Like, this isn't good. So I get on the stationary bike in the hotel. I mean, my leg it's
Bruised all the way.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, so I got to go out and try to ride first practice. So I go to try to ride first practice. At first, I'm like, I think I'll be all right. And then all of a sudden, I started getting a massive pull in my hamstring because the quad wasn't doing anything.
Ooh. Okay.
And then it's like, oh shit, like this is bad.
Panicking.
And I forget somebody was there. We didn't have, Dr. Navarro and Doc G and all the guys and everybody, trainers and everybody around back then. I forget who it was. Somebody was helping me out, but I basically, if I wasn't on the bike that day, I was stretching and getting my leg massaged. And I managed to, I went out for second practice, like, okay, I think it'd be all right. Heat race. I'm leading. Bradshaw takes me out. We both go down. We both have to ride semi-qualifiers and then ride the main. And a whole shot of the main, went back to third, up to second. And it was like a really great second, right? But if you know what you had went through to get that
there.
second, like we talked about.
What you were saying earlier.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and even, I watched a race the other day because somebody was texting me and we got talking about it. I'm like, I don't want to know what was the sequence that night, year. And probably riding the semi was probably a good thing because I got more track time.
Oh, yeah.
Closer to the main event, and I had less time if I'd qualified out of the heat race. There you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's like, that's what it is.
So, dang, that, and especially how much you hold on with your legs and everything.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But my point was, so I raced that weekend. The next weekend was Pontiac up in Detroit, and I was a mess. I got like 7th or 8th. By that all week long, my leg was so much worse the next week than it was the next day. Like it got worse. So, well, I guess we'll just have to see. But wait, there's a weekend off, right?
Weekend off.
Oh, yeah.
So it helps
with
a lot.
Jett,
This is a good time to have a weekend
true,
off.
actually, yeah.
Like you don't have anything, and then they go back to Foxborough. I think the next round's Foxborough. Jagger.
Everything else is outdoors.
Yeah, it is. Foxborough, Salt Lake. What else am I forgetting? There's not
Nashville.
only 2 left. Nashville's outdoors.
How would you feel about always doing the final instead of in Utah
Oh, he's big
at Allegiant Stadium?
in Vegas.
Yeah.
That would be
great.
something cool, huh?
But I told you last time, Utah paid a shit ton of money to have the
Utah
finale.
is the state of sport.
No, agreed.
Nevada is the state of sports betting.
Yeah.
Big difference here.
Yeah, huge difference. But yes, I know what you mean. I wish it was
I
there.
just think that'd be cool. Like how they did it with
Yeah.
Sam Boyd all the time. Now
That was
throw it at
rad.
Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to have it there. I would much rather prefer it there. But I just don't think they're going to do it until that deal runs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then trying to think of what else. Anything else happened in this race? I think we covered everything. Kitchen's on fire.
Tomac winning.
I mean, Jett's still the guy to beat. I mean, the way that he rode the second race. I mean, he's so efficient with his technique. Good. He does everything right. Doesn't seem like he has any real distractions in life, that anything that really gets to him. And
so
sort of a rare spot to be in.
I wrote somebody that's close to him. Don't want to blow him out. I'll tell you off camera, but don't want to blow him out. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, how's he handling certain situations, like when he got booed and like when the fans kind of turned on him a little bit? He's like, bro, he doesn't care at all. He doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
Like he just.
And I remember
he
first
just
time I
races.
met him when he was with Shift, when they, he was still an amateur rider. He just seemed like a different, like the personality was just kind of a free spirit, not really.
Yep.
Not
a care in the
Because
world.
if you're going to be in the spotlight as much as he's in the spotlight, you can't let that crack.
Well, and being able to handle all of that and manage all of that, kind of being naive to the significance of it and the pressure of it all is a real blessing, right? Like having that weight on you, it definitely can work against you. And he doesn't seem to be fazed by it.
No,
all, so.
I don't think he is either.
It's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that was it for the most part.
Yeah, he doesn't let it get to him at all. He gets out
Bro,
there.
he's raced twice, and once in his adult life. And did you win?
I got second.
How many people were in your class?
Once.
How many people were in your class? I don't want to blow you out too much, but I'm pretty sure there was 2.
No, I'm pretty sure there's 3.
Was there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, maybe there was 3.
Hey, all I know is that I lined up against A-Ray.
You did line up against. You were on the same gate drop as Alex Ray. That's right.
I almost whole shotted him.
No, dude, you did.
You know what I mean? So
it was
hey,
super.
I'll take
it
that
was
as a win
raining
for sure. He might have got to the jump before I did, but I wasn't far behind.
Was there a line? Was there any? Was there a bonus for that or no?
No, there definitely was not. It was a race series, a local race series.
With the 7 tear-offs, the first race we did, it was dumping rain. Dude, I had 4 tear-offs. By the halfway through the first lap, I went through them all.
I'm up at
Second
Elsinore
lap,
at the very top where you can look down at the main track, and all of a sudden I see these goggles just flying through the air to me. He just threw his goggles to me.
So you can't throw your goggles, you buy them.
Yeah, that's good point.
No, it's a good point, but I was afraid I was either going to lose them or something was going to happen. They were my brand new goggles. I didn't want to ruin.
How are we going to lose them unless you took them off?
You know how many times I take my hands off the
Did you throw them to him?
Yeah, I picked them up. Yeah. I was like the little.
Some
I was
flagger
like the
girl grabbed him. She's
Bro.
like, oh my
No,
God.
I saw it because I saw him when I was coming around the big sweeper. I saw him. I just took him. I chucked him at him and yelled at him.
Yeah, and then
But,
I got him. I
dude,
picked him up.
I went through so many tear-offs, 4 tear-offs between halfway through the first lap and second lap. Goggles were off. A-Ray had his goggles off. Like it was fun. But
So-
I don't ever want to do a mutter again. I'll tell you that.
No.
Never.
Well, you're supposed
You
to
guys
race
are
this
so
weekend.
California.
I
He's
am
supposed to
racing
race this weekend at Kuya.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to snow on Friday. So
That'd be
I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I've been out there when it's cold.
I'm like, no, I'm good. I have no desire to do
race
that
this weekend?
whatsoever.
No.
Get rid of Garfield, bro.
Yeah, that's so
What's
on
in-
short notice. But I wanted to bring you guys. I got
What's
what
in the
what
bag?
I'm calling the Vet Rider Survival Kit.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
This
so
is what we
this
need.
is on short notice. We only
Racing
talked about
Pro
this a
KTM.
day ago, but I figured I would set you guys up with a couple of gifts here, and this will get you through
Is
the
this when
practice days, you race at Kahia and all.
All right, so sorry.
So we're
Had to cut
back.
off. We're back.
So I thought I'd bring you guys what I'm calling it's a Vet Rider Survival Kit. I know how much you guys like riding. This is just on short notice, okay?
All right.
So I figured
We got a day
trying to
notice.
get you guys
Dude, look at this dude.
Wee big.
Hey, that's sick.
So I noticed that you tend to run a lot of very muted black, white colors. Your kit, I know you like all your A-Star stuff.
It's whatever
And you're
my boy
like-
at A-Star sends me.
So whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever
Why'd
you
you,
got
dude,
going.
look at this.
That's
He
cool.
Just steals
Okay,
it.
Damn,
so
I'm taking it. Here you go.
Hold on,
Thanks,
let me
bud.
try it on.
No,
bro.
no, I'm
And
just
of
gonna take the
course-
whole bag.
Hold on. So and then I thought I'd brighten your life up
Oh,
a little bit
look
here
at
with
that.
the new Blaze of Glory Wee Big Kit.
No freaking way.
So I don't know what size you are. That's a large.
That's Robbie's getting it.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then
Yep, those are mine too.
And then the pants here, but the only pants I had was a 30, so I don't think that's going to work for you guys.
I'm a
I could wear
32.
one leg in it.
Yeah.
I'm a 32 on my way to working
All
down
right,
a little bit.
so we're gonna have to redo. We're gonna redo that.
Oh, what is this, a Robbie
couple
hour?
of, couple of.
Is this a power hour with Robbie or
it
what?
is,
So there's an XL.
Told you this
and
is
a
the Jeff
large.
and Robbie
I can wear
show,
an
bro.
XL. I'm good.
So this is get you a camel
Oh,
smoker
yeah.
cross here. Get you guys. So the ladies love these here for you.
That's
so I don't know
freaking
who
cool,
needs.
dude.
You need a large or
Yeah,
the
large.
He's a large.
runs a little small.
That's freaking
Got
awesome.
to have some viral brand goggles that match
Dude,
your
you
kit.
are
because you're gonna
kidding.
have to get a little
You
bit.
are kidded
Dude,
out
shit.
right now.
Are you telling me I should run it this weekend or what?
Yeah, look at that. That would all
Look at-
match.
hey,
and I
he
can get
just-
you the right size pants.
He
and stuff,
just
too.
threw goggles, and look what he gets. He gets goggles.
And there you go.
These are pretty rad.
And then I know you like to run the Emig Pro.
Let's go, baby, because I need
And then
new
this is the Emig 2.0. I got you some grip donuts because that's what I like. So you guys can split whatever.
You know the
want.
best. You know the best part about it? I really run these. Like,
So,
Yeah.
that's what
I've
Yeah.
ran these
Yeah,
grips.
so
I
forever.
got the Emig grips on my bike as
So-
well, but here's the thing. I got one white and
Hold on.
one black right now.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So the thing is too. He posted the other day where he's stealing his kids' Uncrustables, which Jagger loves those things. So, also we got to get you eating the proper stuff. So, got you some Mana
Oh
bars.
my god, he gave me so
So-
much crap because I posted
Here's the chocolate
Uncrustables.
peanut butter
No
Mana.
way, dude.
The berry, which
And
is
what did
my
I tell you?
favorite.
What did I tell you?
What was
I
that?
said I'm sorry, I don't have any Rhino Power
Yeah,
stuff.
well, now you do. So get you set up. Let them set on the dash, warm up a little bit, softens it up. So there's a little combination of that. And because your nutrition was so
That's
damn
freaking
bad,
cool. Here, try
I
this to the
make
side a
sure
little
that
bit,
you
Jeff.
guys are set up with all the proper Rhino Power.
No
We got
freaking way.
post-ride, pre-ride. I got to get you some more stuff.
Wait, how are we gonna split
Carbo
this?
Fuel.
you could come over and take some.
You
What are you
guys can
talking
make it
about?
all up.
No, we'll do it right now.
And then So for when you're...
Are you Santa Claus?
So when you're going to the gym, if you need a little, like, first ride of the day, you need to get pepped up a little Gladiator. We've got more stuff, like motivation, but Gladiator's just a new great
Put
place.
these up here, Rick.
So
Dude, you know what I feel like you are? You know what I feel like you are? You ever seen Talladega Nights? Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah.
Dude, full promo.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Full
go.
promo.
Hey, you know what I haven't done?
What?
Shout it out ETS.
I know. Shout out ETS Racing Fuels. They're our partner of the
That's
program.
your sponsor
That's our
from
fuel.
Fuels? All right,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Is ETS.
Yeah, that's our fuel of choice. Decal Works is part of my program, HM suspension.
That's cool. Hey,
Epoxy had already shouted them
thank
out.
you. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude.
Pleasure to be on the
That's
show.
freaking
Yeah,
rad.
that was rad. But
Yeah, I had a good time. I'm glad we got a chance here
do it
to discuss some of these races, and
we never talked about the most important thing.
which is
Me.
Are you bringing? No, not you. Are you trying to bring on more and more people to try and get your testicle count up?
Oh yeah, dude. Are you a part of this? Or
Are
not?
you
Because
part of
I'm
this
telling
program?
you right now.
I thought it
because
was a
if
pretty good idea for some guys.
we could
It's
sell
not a-
one of his. and
Jagger,
get
do you know
three
what we're
different
talking
bikes.
about? Apparently, you could get $30,000 for selling your testicles.
No. It's anywhere from like $29,000 to $92,000.
You start to get up into six digits.
That's a lot
it's
of money.
Serious consideration.
I'm
It
telling
is
you
a
right now.
serious
Especially a
consideration.
guy like my age. I'm 53.
But I think
We
I
can
think-
hold him down and cut one off right now.
Honest question. I think mine are more valuable. I'm younger.
Dude,
just
what,
saying.
2 years?
I'm just saying there is something to that.
Hey.
I don't need kids anymore.
Okay, so
I have
that's a
enough.
valid point right there. We'll hold him down.
Well, I mean, I
we'll
think
use
there's
him.
some more research that needs to go into it and some concrete offers.
I googled it for
some
like
concrete,
real legit.
real numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
I googled
And
it
then
for
we'll
5
consider-
minutes. I'm pretty sure we're good.
We are pretty good,
You know?
I think. I
So-
think we're solid. Dude, for real though, like it's one of
appreciate
those
you.
things. Like I appreciate it. You were like immediate. Like let's jump on tailgate talk.
Yeah,
all
let's
that
do it.
stuff. You've been super cool with me. You've been fun, friendly, like all that stuff. Especially when I got that video of you at Paris with Scott. Reached
yeah.
out to me, by the way. Cooney.
Yeah.
Scott and I talked today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just. It's always cool, and it's like good to have those kind of moments in between all the other stuff because there's a lot of bad that can be from the industry too, and so it's good to have good,
That's just
concrete,
solid
like
people.
fun,
That's the
solid
way
people.
life is. We ride dirt bikes. Just don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Have fun with what you're doing and enjoy it because
what we're doing.
you never know when it's going to be your last. And so,
true.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the one thing about riding bikes. I've seen both sides of this sport. I
Yeah.
still choose to ride. I still really enjoy riding motocross, and it's like hopefully till my last day I'm doing it.
Yep.
So,
I said
think
it-
that's the common bond that we all share.
Yeah, I said I'll ride it until I can't ride anymore, and God willing, you know, you
Yep.
shut all this stuff down, take away the whole 23 thing, don't take away my dirt bike. You know, like that's I don't ever want to lose riding.
No, agreed.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so anyways, guys, I'm Michael. This is my brother Robbie. Obviously, Jeff Emig. Hit like and subscribe, all that stuff. I even made a shout out last time I was on it. I was like, oh, I don't have to ask that anymore because my wife made me like an outro. She's
didn't
really
put
good
it
at
on there, did you?
creativity.
Nice, yeah.
But I forgot to put it in.
Okay, well, make sure
That's-
that it's in.
Yeah, I'll make sure that's in on this one.
And make sure you guys follow the
23 Moto podcast.
23 Moto podcast Instagram so we can get the thing up in at least triple digits.
At least
Yeah.
100 followers.
Seriously.
All right.
Hey, go buy some of this stuff,
Yeah.
dude. Seriously, it's not that hard.
All right, thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you.